Good morning. Welcome to Hindu Newspaper Analysis 21st December 2022. First article talks about violation of road safety rules, major reasons for accidents in Anantapur. This article is categorically used in two aspects. One, solutions for reduction of road accidents. Number two, technology role in easing governance or in good governance. Try to understand here. In India, as per 2018 NCRB data, around 1,50,000 people died because of road accidents. Apart from that, World Bank studies revealed that around 4 lakh road accidents recorded in India. Now, what I want to convey to you is how this can be tackled. One of the important solution can be written from this article, that is Anantapur District Administration brought this, following this iRAD app, Integrated Road Accident Database. Now, iRAD app is very important to find out the data of road accidents. At the same time, it also creating a help for the government to the governments in analyzing road accidents issue. Now, what is this iRAD is about? So, Integrated Road Accident Database is an app which will provide the live status of road accidents data, and it also provide videos and unique IDs for the road accidents. So that will help the public authorities in signaling the road accident issues. Further, there is one more program launched by this district officials, that is Good Samaritan program. You know very well that when people are victimized by road accidents, it is the first 1.5 hour is very important, which is medically called as golden hour. During that time, usually people not interested to help because of legal complications. But today, thanks to the Motor Vehicles Amendment Act, which provided a helping hand, which encouraging good Samaritans. Now, district officials also providing cash benefits to the people who helped them in the critical time. So these are points we can remember for our answer writing. Next article talks about upholding the autonomy of Election Commission. Now, we need to remember that Election Commission was in news because of appointment procedures. So, considering the points, he wrote this article following the debate over the Election Commissioner appointment. Now, he doesn't focus only Election Commissioner. In fact, he put forward the idea of writing article on institutions' autonomy itself. So, what are institutions is about? So, institutions are the fourth branch of democracy. In every democracy, we found legislature, executive, judiciary, but there is a fourth branch, that is institutions. You know what institutions, why institutions are important? Let us take an example. Supreme Court in 1982, SP Gupta versus Union of India stated, right to speech and expression, right to freedom of speech and expression also includes right to information. Further, it also highlighted the same thing in Mr. Kulwal versus Jaipur Municipal Corporation, which stated freedom of speech and expression includes right to information. Now, Government of India brought a Freedom of Information Act 2002, which was failed to deliver justice. Then they brought Right to Information Act 2005, and this Right to Information Act works from the pillars of Chief Information Commissions at the national level, State Information Commissioners at the state level, even information commissioners at the local level. Now try to understand, if you don't have these institutions, who will deliver the right to information as it is on the letter and spirit? Absolutely no one. So that is the point where we need to think about this institution's role. Apart from that, Indian democracy has a huge significant value to the elections, but who will conduct the elections in a free and fair manner, which comes under even basic structure of Indian Constitution as per Kesavananda Bharati judgment. Now, for that implementation, we need institutions. So, institutions like CAG, who will audit the public funds expenditure. Two, we have election commissions who will conduct the free and fair elections, and even we have Article 338, that is National Commission for SCs, 338A, National Commission for STs, 338B, National Commission for other backward caste. Now we have to understand these institutions play an important role in all the democracies. For example, democracies like South Africa and Kenya do have institutions, and they do provide institutions like National Human Rights Commission and also election commissioners, which plays an important role in providing democratic values. Then what is the concern here? Other highlighted, appointment process is a problematic thing, because government can influence this appointment process. Not only government, even any single member bodies or single member organizations will affect the autonomy. There were questions about RTI appointments in recent past, because from 2019 onwards, government brought amendment to the RTI in which such amendments severely impacted appointment procedure. Previously, Chief Information Commissioners usually had similar autonomy like Chief Election Commissioner, but today they are dependent on central government. Now, that were the changes which will impact the institution's autonomy. Others stated, in Vineet Narayan case, Supreme Court stated that a rule of law will prevail during this appointment itself. So, it should be remembered by every government that to provide rule of law, to implement the law in letter and spirit, there should be free, fair and transparent appointment procedures. Now, in Vinita Narayan case, Supreme Court stated that in appointment of CBI, there should be PM, leader of opposition and CJI. So that element of multi-members bodies in appointing most important positions should be there. It may include government and opposition leaders, independent experts and judicial experts, so that no one can become the dominant. So this is what author is saying and writing the main points in this article. Next article talks about the recent data protection issues. Now, a data protection bill is in a draft. I am not going to give you detailed applications about this bill, but I would like to tell you some major concerns of the author, who is a former Chief Information Commissioner, Sridhar Acharyalu. He said some beautiful points which can be important to understand the Indian polity. Try to understand, as I discussed with you in the previous recording, that is, Right to Information Act comes under Article 19 Clause 1. Even SP Gupta case mentioned about this very clearly. Now, this Right to Information Act, which framed in 2005, so this act clearly stated that it provides information about the government functionaries. However, there is Section 8.1 Clause I, which stated that information can be denied on certain grounds. Now, this digital protection data bill. So what it is bringing is, it is bringing one more element, that is right to privacy. So information can be blocked on the grounds of right to privacy. One of the serious challenge here, because this digital personal data protection bill, which is right now at the draft stage, keeping the privacy at the core, blocking the fundamental right. Now, you can understand both are fundamental rights, in fact, because right to privacy was implicitly part of Article 21 as per Pottaswamy judgment by the Supreme Court. Right to freedom of speech and expression is explicit fundamental right. Now, who will decide this right to privacy issue? That was the question. So, for example, any information about any government official can be blocked by privacy itself. So we can understand that this is going to have a serious impacts and impede the flow of information, which is part of fundamental rights. Now, apart from this challenge, there is one more challenge, that there is one authority as per this bill, that is Data Protection Authority of India, DPAI, and this DPAI will have members from CJI or their nominee and cabinet secretary and expert members on the data technology. Now, as I told you, there is a questions on autonomy, because separation of powers and also legal status of this authority. Because Supreme Court in Madras Bar Association versus Union of India clearly stated that Selection Committee of National Tax Tribunal Authority, National Tax Tribunal Authority, which includes more members from executive. But Supreme Court in Madras Bar Association versus Union of India clearly struck down this appointment procedure and stated there should be institutional autonomy, and that autonomy is not possible if you have excess number from executive. So that was clearly forgotten by the executive or even legislature, but in the framing of this bill. Apart from that, now other raised several concerns over different issues, but I'm not going to deep into that as of today, because let us wait for the finalization of the bill, then we will discuss about other aspects. If you are preparing for interview, then you are supposed to follow the bill very point to point, so that you can answer the interview questions very well. Next article talks about new normal in the Indo-Pacific contestation. So this article gives you overall wind-up of 2022 activities. Apart from that, they even covered some before activities also. For example, they began with China's rising foreign policy aggression in the Indo-Pacific region. To begin with, they focused about Xi Jinping favorite project, Belt and Road Initiative. Then projects within the Asia like Sri Lanka Hambantota, Bangladesh Chittagong port, then Myanmar Kipkew port. Later they even mentions about South Africa projects in Djibouti, Kenya, Galvan Valley clashes and issues with respect to recent border clashes. And it is mentioning about India's projects, like India engaging with Quad, India's engagement with other alliances which are in the news. For example, Indo-Pacific Partnership Framework and India's interactions with Nepal and other countries, severely mentioned about all the other engagements within India itself. So I request you just read the article for the revising point of view. Not very much important, doesn't giving any significant things, but it can helpful for the revision. Next article talks about fluid boundaries. So try to understand, from last 1.5 years, it is in news, almost 1 year it is in severe contesting. In fact, the issue doesn't start last 1 year. So issue began around in 1957, in which State Reorganization Act 1956, which adjusted the boundaries, and it also mentioned that section 21 of this particular act stated that Ministry of Home Affairs founded that objections that Marathi speaking people are added to Karnataka region. So there were around 814 villages which belongs to part of Belgavi region, Karwar and Nipani. So around population of around 6 to 7 lakhs. Once upon a time part of Bombay Presidency added with Karnataka. So that created a lot of problem, and both are having claims on it. But the most important thing is, recently when Karnataka Chief Minister claims 48 villages of Sangli in Maharashtra, and it started the debate over it. So now this border issue was tries to settle by union government. You have Mahajan committee in 1966 to assess the situation and to talk with the other both members. And 1961 committee recommended that some villages should be given to Maharashtra and Belgavi should be given to the Karnataka region. So, but they were not happy with this Mahajan committee. Then what happened? They went to Supreme Court. In 2006, Supreme Court said that it should be resolved by negotiations, and there should be diplomatic talks between the two groups rather than resorting violence. And these mutual negotiations and that linguistic criteria should not be the way to go for the problems. And finally, issue is still here. Now what we can do? What is the way? The way is only interstate commissions. 200 Article 263 talks about interstate commission. So this interstate council should be the best solution provider at this moment of time. So apart from that, they both should have peace committees to reduce the provocations. Apart from that, there should be a satellite imaginary help that can be taken. And last but not least, people can discuss within the local communities and they can give their opinion to the state governments. So in that way, we can find some solutions for this article. Next article talks about if UN not reformed, we will be overtaken by other organizations. So this is very interesting article where India, for the first time ever, trying to sharp their voice. India's representative to UN, Ruchira Kambozi. So she openly stated that if UN is not going to reform, they are going to have one more institutions. Let us try to see for the next developments. Next article, panel flags victimization of SC/ST employees of PSU. Now, this article could be useful in writing value addition points, particularly challenges to Indian democracy or caste-based victimization in society topic. Now, this is an interesting article where Parliamentary Standing Committee noted that a report saying that SC/ST employees in public sector units are facing a severe discrimination and also they are witnessing a lot of assaults in harassments also, which is very serious concern about their empowerment and which is also signaling the improper delivery of constitutional values, that is equality. Next article talks about MPs across the aisle break bread at fest of millets and 3 more sites added to tentative list of UNESCO. Now you know very well that India is our leading country in getting the approval of United Nations for declaring United Nations 2023 as United Nations year of millets. Now from that onwards, India even trying to promote millets. It is well known fact that millets are very nutritional rich and less water needed crops. So India is promoting this millets not only for providing help to the farmers, it is also eco-friendly and it is going to have some tremendous effects on the water consumption. Second thing, millets is also nutritional value food crops. Definitely it is going to help the India's challenges like stunting and wasting. You know very well that according to National Family Health Survey, almost 35% of India's children are stunted. Then 3 more sites added to tentative list of UNESCO, which is a combined article you can see. So now we have Gujarat Vadnagar town iconic Sun Temple at Modhera and rock cut sculptures of Unakoti in Tripura were added to the tentative list. Let us wait and watch for the next developments in this issue. Next article talks about a prize was given to rural development supporter Mr. Sangatam. So Mr. Sangatam got this award for his organization Better Life Foundation, and this is in Persons in News. You just remember this name. Next article talks about speed up genome sequencing, says Health Minister. So try to understand, genome sequencing is a method in which laboratory procedures that determines order of bases in the genome of an organism, and this is going to useful to understand the genetic methods, genetic coding, and how this genetics is going to affected by some diseases. So around India it was started. So genome process is going well, and this is going to help scientists to understand how these things will how genome is affected by several diseases. And this was a project initiated by National Institute of Health and the US Department of Energy, and later even countries are adopting it. Even India is aiming to have genome sequence to understand COVID effect in particular section of population. Next article talks about Navy takes delivery of submarine Vagir to be commissioned in Jan. So this is indigenously built 5th Scorpene submarine Vagir of Project 75 Calvary class submarines. Now Project 75 includes indigenous construction of 6 submarine Scorpene designs, so which are developed by this Mahajan Dock Shipbuilders, Mumbai. Now this comes under even Atmanirbhar Bharat project also. So we are going to have this to strengthen our Navy system. The first submarine under this 75 project is INS Calvary, and then we have INS Khanderi in 2019, and third one is INS Karanji in 2021, and fourth one is INS Vela in 2021, and now we have this INS Vagir, which is also an important thing. So this do have this independent air independent propulsion system, so which will help them to stay longer time in the underwater. That's all for today. Thank you so much and Jai Hind.